All right, guys, welcome back. Guess what? It's day one of Hot Rod Power Tour. I'm currently in my garage here in Atlanta, and guess what? I rolled in yesterday. Dun, 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 dun. It's here. It rolled in the other day. It actually runs. And I was going to give you guys a quick update on what's happening with it because a lot's changed since the last time we've seen this truck. Last time we saw it, the transmission wasn't working in it. We did fix that problem, and I'll show you how we did that. And there's a ton of other stuff my dad's been doing on this thing too. Okay, so let's talk about the transmission first. That's the biggest question when we left off in the last video. The transmission was not shifting out of third gear. It was stuck in third gear, and we couldn't figure out what was going on with it. We did do a bunch of research on it, and we did find a really good video on a power plug in our wiring harness that we had missed that needed to be plugged in order for the transmission to see power. Unfortunately, at that point in the video, I had to return back home to Atlanta, so I couldn't really help anymore in that. It was up to my dad to try and figure that out, which sucks because wiring's not his favorite thing. That's kind of more my world, but it is what it is. I had to work. So the end of the story is we thought we had hooked that wire up to 12 volts. We tried it, it did not shift. It was still stuck in third gear. So at that point, Dad decided to pull the plug on using that wire harness, the original wiring harness from the truck. And we went with a standalone harness from our tuner that we have, who had harnesses already designed for this exact swap with an LS with a 4L60E. So we purchased that wiring harness. Dad plugged everything all in. He had to go through all the wiring on the inside of the truck again, which sucked because it put us back like 3 weeks. He plugged all that in, took it for a test ride, the transmission shifted. So success. And unfortunately said it kind of put us 3 weeks behind the ball from where we were in the last video, but it is working. Further inspection after that, Dad was telling me, he's like, I'm pretty sure when I put that second wire that had to be plugged in for power, he's like, I think I plugged it in the wrong spot and it didn't have 12 volts. So all in all said, we were like 90% there having it work with the original wiring harness, but I think what ended up being was we just didn't have 12 volts of that second wire, which I'll post a video right around here. This is the video that we used for that second wire. I think if we had actually checked that, had 12 volts to that, I think we would have had it working completely. But like I said, at the time, my dad was like, I want to get rid of this thing. Let's get rid of the harness. Let's just get a standalone. It'll be cleaner. It'll be better, which honestly, it probably is. I'll show you how that came out here in just a second. Okay, let's go over the truck front to back and what's been done. First, you can see we got the hood on it. We got the emblem on the hood here. I'll open this up and show you the hinges. We got the grill, the front bumper done. The doors now have latches. We have windows. We kept our side windows. These are 100% required. We have to have these. I swear to God. Got mirrors put on it. Coming around the back here, this is all pretty much the same. We got a tonneau cover on it to cover all our stuff. We got a rear bumper on it. I'm not sure if that was on the last video. It might have been. Rear bumper. We got chains in here for the tailgate. License plates done. Lights are all working. That was all working last video. Same thing with this door here. Got latches in, got mirrors, we got windows here, and let me take you around the inside here and I'll show you where a lot of the work's been going. Shop line. Meow. All right, so we got inner door panels in with all the hardware, windows. The windows do work. They work pretty good. You do need to help them up a little bit, and Dad's not super happy with how this door came out, but he's going to do some more work on that when he takes it home. It does shut and latch, but he's not happy with it. So if you come in here, we got jute carpet in as well as the rubber matting is put in. We've actually been driving around quite a bit, so that's why there's some stuff in here. We got our cup holder in here we have some cigarette lighter stuff in here so we can charge our phones. So we do not have vintage air in here yet. It's actually in the trailer, but we are going to try and put that together probably after the tour. My dad's hanging out for a couple of days, so we'll try and put that in. Being sealed, new hardware in here. Got this, power seat works. We did actually go register already for Power Tour, so we have our sticker, Power Tour sticker on the truck. Here's a view from the other side. Got this, got all these all in, got handles and hardware and windows, mirrors, carpet and rubber matting. This actually is in, but it's a big blank hole behind here now. Of course, I can't get it open on camera because I can't do it. But anyway, there's nothing back here yet. That's where the vintage air will go. We got wipers put on. We got rearview mirrors put in. We have one sun visor in. This one we just haven't put in yet. Yeah, we got seat belts in the thing. Oh my God, safety belts. Are you kidding me? So Dad has been slamming on this thing for the last couple weeks from that. And let me take you up here in the hood and I'll show you kind of how the wiring harness ended up. Underneath the hood here, you can kind of see it's still a little bit not quite how I want to do it, but it is in and running. So we mounted the PCM here. It still runs the original power control module. We got a new harness in that went into all the injectors. Everything on top of this had all plugged in new harness, as well as the 4L60E. This is actually part of the harness from the original truck for taillights and brake lights and all that jazz. TCC wire. But you can see here too, we now have a new fuse panel back here. There's a fuse panel that came with the kit, and those are the fuel pump relays and everything like that for that. So that took place of the big box that used to sit here, the original fuse panel that really we were using like 3 wires out of. So honestly, in all intents and purposes, this is probably the way to go, because that's what you have to deal with now instead of that monster box. I fully plan on probably when I get back over to Oklahoma, maybe this fall, to kind of clean a lot of this up in wire loom. You can see like where Dad had just kind of ripped all my wire loom out and just went to town doing his thing, which is understandable because yeah, it was not the way I really wanted to leave him there. But so that's kind of what we have going on in here. We did end up doing the cold air intake for this, which came out really well. We did do a new puke tank for the radiator, so this is different. We have not got our windshield wiper jug in here yet, but it'll go in here. It's real funny because it definitely came up to a time when we were looking at this where it's like what is required to go on the road and what is not, and let's prioritize things that have to get done. So some of these things, like I said, right now the vintage air isn't in. We don't even have blower motor in yet because it's like get it running, get it going, get it on the tour. That's the main goal, and that's what we did. So far it's been here about 2 days. We've probably put 200 miles on this thing already. Just driving back down and forth to Atlanta Motor Speedway, because I went and picked up our credentials, doing some test runs on it, and this thing is running awesome. This thing rides so good. With this Yukon powertrain and drivetrain, it just rides so smooth. So once we get this thing really dialed in, this truck is going to be awesome. Let me see what else I want to tell you about. Trying to think here. Oh, let me show you. I'm not sure if these were on. We did put some step bars on here. That really just helps my mom, my dad out getting in this thing. This first step is a little tall, and this really does help it out getting in. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty nice. We did get the steering wheel kind of tightened up. We've got our horn button in. Our horn doesn't work yet, but it's there. Cruise control is still not hooked up yet. The wires are still kind of tucked in here for that, but that doesn't work. The Dakota Digital Dash is running great. This thing is awesome, by the way. If you guys are doing this, this is the way to go, 100%. This thing is amazing, well worth the money. It tells you so much information. It's exactly the way it should be. This is the selector switch for the Dakota Digital Dash to kind of go through the menu system. Lights work, wipers work. We've got the new key in. If you remember last time, the key was kind of over here and it was not the best one. And we got that ordered the new key from that, and that looks so much better. The keys are a lot nicer too as well. But Dad's got his funky little phone mount that he likes. Yeah, wipers work good. I fixed the dome light stickers. They were falling off like immediately after I put them on. So I got some 3M double-sided tape, put that in. Yeah, we're coming along pretty good. Like I said, coming along pretty good. But yeah, so guys, it's here. It's in Atlanta. We're going on power tour that we did it. It's so funny to think that literally 5-6 months ago, this truck here was sitting on trailers in pieces, and here it is running, driving, getting ready to go on power tour. We're going to do 1,300 miles with it next couple of days. I'm going to take you guys along with it. Today is day 1 of power tour, so we're going to take you guys down to Atlanta. We'll show you where we park. Let's hopefully meet some friends. We'll see some cool rides. But yeah, come along with us and let's enjoy power tour day 1. All right guys, we'll see you in a minute. Okay, so this is the part of the video where it gets a little muddy. Unfortunately, I didn't really get to shoot a lot of footage at Atlanta Motor Speedway, actually hardly any at all. We were dealing with a couple of issues, which we'll get into shortly with the truck. And honestly, Hot Rod Power Tour is so overwhelming. We were just amazed at everything that was happening with it and what was going on. So I don't have a lot of footage from this part of the trip, but we did run into an issue with the fuel pump going into South Carolina, and this is where it picks up from there. Well guys, we made it. We're in South Carolina on Power Tour. We did 500 something miles with the truck today. Fortunately, we kind of got some bad news. We're pretty sure the fuel pump in this thing died. So we barely squeaked it into the parking lot here. Oof, like last 6 miles were really tough. It was not running good, and everything kind of points to being a fuel pump. So we're kind of stuck in the water here. We're trying to figure out what to do. I think right now we're gonna try and tow it back home and maybe try and put a fuel pump in and continue on. We did make it to day 2 of Power Tour though. Like I said, we got 500 something miles on it. It did make the trip, so I consider it somewhat of a success. But yeah, so that's where we're at. We're now waiting for a tow truck, and we're gonna tow it back home. Maybe throw a fuel pump in it, maybe just grab one of the other cars. We'll see, we're gonna finish it out. So anyway, this is so far where we're at with Power Tour with 57. So stay tuned, we're gonna work on it. So in this point in the story, we were both pretty bummed. We were pretty upset about the fuel pump dying all the way over there. I know my dad was pretty upset about it as well. The good news is the 3-hour ride home back to Atlanta really let us think about it and figure out that let's go ahead and finish Power Tour and get it done. We committed to doing Power Tour. It's not a big deal. Let's finish it. And we knew going into this that the fuel tank was going to be a problem because the truck is from the Northeast, and the lock ring on top of the fuel tank was absolutely atrocious. It was welded onto the tank pretty much. And that's one of the reasons why we didn't want to fix it in the parking lot of the hotel room. We did manage to get it off. We got a fuel pump for it. We got it packed back up into the trailer, and we cannonballed all the way back to Rockingham, North Carolina to try and make day 3 of Hot Rod Power Tour. We made it to Rockingham. That was fun.
Back on schedule.
Back on track. Okay, so here's the update. We are back in action. We drove all the way to Atlanta last night on the wrecker, put a new fuel pump in this thing. We put it in a support van, and we trailered all the way to Rockingham, North Carolina, unloaded, went in, did the show. I've been driving around for about 20 minutes now. It's running super good now, thanks to this guy. But yeah, we had to literally peel the floorboards up, try and find a fuel pump at 7 a.m. It was super fun. But it's back here. We're back on Power Tour. We still got our buckets punched. We're good to go. So at this point in this story, the truck drove flawlessly. We drove the rest of the way through Power Tour without a problem whatsoever. But as you can see, we really enjoyed our trip. We did end up coming home with the long hauler award, which means we made every stop and got our tickets punched every way. And it was a great journey. I do really feel bad that I didn't get to shoot a lot of footage for Hot Rod Power Tour like I had planned on. But I hope you guys enjoyed the ride, enjoyed going with us. We are planning on going hopefully next year with some more upgrades on the truck. So stay tuned. More videos are to come. Thanks for watching.